Good morning, everyone. This is Lit Luv, and today we're talking about an oldie but a goodie. This book, How Can I Help, by Ram Dass and Paul Gorman. It has been around for a long time, I think the 80s. I'll look to be sure. But it's really all about helping and receiving help, which I think is so important in these times, in these days. So it looks like it's from 1985 when it was first copywritten. There's a lot of stories in here. It's a little bit dated in some of the text and things that it talks about, but overall, there's some really good nuggets in here about helping and our feelings around helping, which are complicated, especially after COVID, I feel. I think that we all are still, even though it's been some time now, struggling with being social and being out there and connecting with others and finding community and being in community. And that's kind of hindering our thoughts on helping. We do think now before we help. There are these barriers that didn't used to be there that are there now. Like for me, it's I don't want to be anywhere that I might get sick. I've noticed an uptick. I work at the symphony, and I've noticed an uptick in people requesting masks or wearing masks at performances. So there's a whole new set of things going around in our mind when we think about helping others and how to help others. We're also feeling a bit of desperation, right? Of some things we feel that are happening in the world today and in our community today are we're desperate about. We're desperate to help to resolve things, to get things done. And we forget to be inclusive and invitive, to invite people into our cause. There's this really great story in here on page 161 about this man who used to be in the Guard during the Vietnam War and how he was guarding the Pentagon during a protest. And there were people on the other side, protesters, who were doing this elaborate ritual to raise the Pentagon off the ground. And he had a feeling that he would like to be part of that. He didn't really know how he felt about the war at the time when he was guarding the Pentagon, but he really wanted to be part of the protest on the other side until a woman came up and put a flower in his gun. And everyone cheered and pictures were taken. And she never made eye contact with him, never said anything to him or acknowledged his existence at all. And he stood there very stoic. And the picture went all around the world and was really a kind of a sensation. I remember reading about this, I think in Life magazine or an old Life magazine or something like that at a bookstore once. And then he talks about how he goes on to visit friends of his when he was really thinking, I'm not into this war. He went to visit some friends of his who were in the military and were about to be shipped out, and they went to a coffee house. And they found out that the coffee house was run by protesters, and they had put coffee houses all around the country next to military bases to create a connection, a place where people could go and talk to each other and be more inclusive. And that's how the man got into the movement and did some really incredible things. I'm not going to give it away, but he started his own movement within the military and was able to do so much more and have his own protests and things like that and reach people higher up in the government. And he talks about how important it is to be inclusive when you have a cause where you're trying to help people and what that is like. And there's a lot in here about your psychology behind helping or not helping. One of the stories was like the person was talking about someone called on the phone and they wanted to help the person, but at the same time, they had called at an inopportune moment. And the person was just thinking about all their tasks and then having to redirect back to the phone call. And there was a lot of judgment in what the person was saying that they were going to help in the phone call. And then at the end of the phone call, the person says, "Thank you." And the person that was helping them had two choices, could either be upset or could be happy that the person was grateful and all these other things. But it resonated with me because you do find yourself, if someone needs a lot of help, getting frustrated with them because you have your own things to do and I've got to, do these chores and all this stuff. And so it really resonated with me, a lot of these things. And it talks about overcoming your barriers to just be able to help. And there's a lot of personal stories in here. If you do anything with this book, it's fun to go through and read the personal stories. You'll see a lot of yourself in this book. I think it's still pertinent today. I got it because I'm taking a training and the book was recommended. So I went to the library, obviously. It's the library code. I went to the library and got it, so you can get it here in Santa Cruz if you so desire through the library. And you don't have to read every single word. I just kind of went through and read different sections that appealed to me. But I pretty much ended up reading the whole book by the time I was done. So it's definitely worth a read. It's a little bit dated. You have to get over some of that. They're not necessarily using all the right language that we in 2026 are using or working towards shifting. But the intention here in this book is to really help you understand, what is your hesitation with helping? What is it about helping that is so human and so primal? And how can you use that psychology, those skills to work within your own organizations, your own movements, to bring other people in and to bridge the gap between the us and the other. So, an interesting read. Pick it up. How Can I Help? By Ram Dass and Paul Gorman. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again. I'm Juliana J. If you want to give me a recommendation for a book, you can go through my website, julianajbruno.com. I also have my own book, Reasons to Live. You can order that on my website as well. And until next time, this was Lit Love. Take care.